the world's not okay. The way God created the world, the way he meant the world to be, is not the way it's playing out.
One thing I've seen in terms of all the needs that are in given communities is just the lack of an approach that really solves those problems, but from the root, that solves those problems in a way that forever changes and transforms the future.
My belief is not that Jesus would come to do just evangelism or just compassion, but we believe that Jesus of the Bible completely brought this integrated approach, this holistic gospel, and as a result of that, that's what gives us our formula for food, freedom, and forgiveness.
Food represents for us a category. It's just a representation of the needs of the poor. Food generally tends to be one of the needs of the poor, but they have a lot more needs than that. They have needs for shelter. They have medical needs. They have education needs. Could be about job creation.
How do we address those issues in the community? How do we touch on the infrastructure issues that are preventing the poor from having access to the things that they need?
I think it's really difficult for us to imagine the kind of so-called life that some people live.
I did get married, but my husband could not afford food. I thought that it was normal to have food one day, but just drink water the next few days. I got pregnant, but I was so malnourished that I lost the baby. My husband blamed me for the miscarriage.
So food and these economic issues are just really one part of what we're talking about. The other part, the next part, is this whole issue of freedom.
It's another one of those God-given desires, and part of his creation is to see that freedom, and that freedom to be in relationship with him, and freedom to be in community with each other. And we feel it's part of the problem that we've got to solve.
What are the issues of human trafficking, of slavery, of the plight of the refugee? That's a big epidemic issue in our world today.
My husband opened the door and they started to beat him. I knew that it was a rebel group known for beating people, abducting them, and taking them off to kill them. My little daughter was crying in the living room. They beat me and took me in their car. My child was abandoned, and I never found out what happened to my husband.
There is no way out in their minds. There is no hope in their minds. Because what would give them hope? What would make them think that someday they could get out of that situation?
So we talk about food, freedom, and then forgiveness is obviously the spiritual component that brings the physical part of our ministry to people together with the spiritual component of how we present this holistic, integrated gospel.
I was being abducted when I was at school, and I was given the gun, and I can tell you, can you kill that person? If you fail to kill that person, then they will kill me. It was not easy for me to forgive. I found myself forgiving, and I know God has forgiven me from that day.
Jesus is our example how to do this. When we look at him, we see an inseparable connection to a person's experience, existence here, and for their eternal destiny. And they're inseparable. We can't separate them because Jesus didn't.
We need all three. We need food, freedom, and forgiveness. God is good. And I know that
when he envisions community, it does not involve slavery. It does not involve people who go hungry. It does not involve people who never have an opportunity to hear of him.
We certainly have an aggressive plan that needs resources behind it. With those resources, we could create community where those needs are being met and is sustainable within that community. And I want to be a part of something where I actually see transformation occur.
There's a way that we can help, and why wouldn't we? You know, there is no reason for us not to. We have the power to do it. We have the resources to do it. We need to do it.